Hello and welcome, all our listeners from all around the world. Welcome to this Utopian Global Live in the new year. We almost finishing January, believe it or not, 2021. What a beginning of a year. This is Claudia here live from Dubai, and I know we have our listeners from many places all around the world throughout social media, listening to this webcast and wanting to see our CEO and founder of Utopian Global, Bill Rowell, what updates he has to give to us, to all our followers of the Utopian Global ecosystem. Bill, you are also in Dubai with myself, or like myself. Hello and welcome to you.
Hi, Claudia. It's great to be here. Thank you for hosting tonight's call, and welcome to everyone joining us from various parts of the world. Hope everyone's safe and well during these absolute crazy times.
That's it. Who would have believed that 1 year later we are still not out of that one and don't even have an idea when we will get out of this one. So besides, of course, we have amazing things going on right now. I mean, there is a lot of things going on in the precious metals market, in the cryptocurrency market, in, of course, online and all kinds of companies. You know, you see traditional companies going under, traditional companies closing down. I see it, of course, in my country. I obviously follow it. What's happening there? Lots of companies closing down, shutting down because of very affected with COVID. Yet you have industries, you have technologies, you have many companies which are also thriving. And of course, Utopian Global, we have been in the market since 2008 with our platform providing service in precious metals, meaning people could save or get paid to save even in gold and silver. And I'm going to go walk you through a little bit about the presentation on later part of this short interview. First, I will want, of course, to have some questions and some updates from you. But I certainly, for those people, I'm going to walk you through that in a bit. But there's certainly a lot of things going on right now. We know we are in the third bull cycle in precious metals. And Bill, you, as well as we have experienced the second bull market back, of course, many, many years ago. What is your crystal ball when it comes to the year 2021 for precious metals?
Well, Claudia, I don't have a crystal ball, but the trend is your friend. And if you look at the fundamentals in the world, where we have central banks around the world printing massive amounts of money, billions and billions, and even into the trillions of dollars and euros around the world, monetary expansion is happening at crazy levels, unprecedented levels. And the effects of that must come home to roost, which means loss of purchasing power, higher prices, etc., etc. Loss of savings, to be quite honest. And on top of that, you have, of course, negative interest rates happening around the world. To me, diversification into precious metals and the hard assets like that is just a no-brainer. I've been, like yourself, Claudia, a saver in gold and silver for a long time. It's a small part of anyone's portfolio, so I'm not telling people on the call now to sell your real estate, to sell other assets, to put it into gold or silver, but it's a good one to have. And when I was introduced to this by Philip Judge, the bullion banker, who is actually here in Dubai with us as well. He speaks at the World Gold Council. He sees, as I see, gold and silver as wealth preservation. It's not a speculative trade. It's just a part of protecting your labor in one sense. And you know, you may have maybe 10% of your cash availability held in precious metals. Some people may be less, some people may be more. It depends on the individual. But the great thing about precious metals is it's highly liquid. Now, many of the experts believe that gold as gold is going to expand over, it's going to grow over the next coming years, and maybe even by the end of this particular year, it could be hitting 2,900, 2,300. And that's actually very possible, to be quite honest, when markets move fast. And silver could be, I believe silver can see $65. Some say it's $100, some more. If it gets to $65, I'll be very happy. It still hasn't broken its all-time high from 2011 or back in 1980. of around $50, whereas gold broke its 1980 high. It broke its 2011 high. When was that? Back in I think it was October, November last year. So silver's still quite probably 40% off its all-time highs of the past. So a lot of people believe there's a lot of upside on silver, but again, don't speculate. See this as a long-term hold, which I do, and I don't think you can lose owning gold and silver over the long term. I'm 3 years out on this. That's how I sort of think. But I think silver, when silver moves, it moves very, very fast and has a long way to catch up to on gold in that sense. So I think that can move faster than gold. But when it corrects and moves down in a volatile market, it moves also much faster as well. So you've got to be able to withstand these emotional roller coaster rides of pricing, to be quite honest. And if you're having a long-term view on it and you're only putting part of your available cash into it, it doesn't really matter the price. The point is you're accumulating every month. It might be 50 euros, it could be 1,000 euros, it could be 5,000 euros of gold or silver per month. Like here in Dubai, we speak to many pilots. They're pilots who fly private aircrafts for companies here, and they're gold buyers. Like, they just get it. I mean, they each month they'll just buy a bit of gold each particular month and put it aside. It's a long-term wealth preservation hold, and in these markets where the world is, I think this is really, really important. Silver, speaking to Philip Judge, the bullion banker, this is now going back probably before, well, actually just after Christmas, New Year, I think it was. He was telling me that the Swiss refiner Argo Horizon is short, can't really supply sufficient good delivery bars of 1,000-ounce bars of silver, which is really,
now that's a big one.
That is a big one. It's sort of,
that's a bombshell.
Well, it is, but again, it's a silver is still not performing where it should be, is it? It's still quite which is the opportunity, actually. To be quite honest, many people wait for the big move, and they said, "Oh, I'm going to buy silver," but they've already lost 10 or 20% of the move in one sense. I like to buy each month, and then it doesn't really matter what the pricing is. You're in the market, and then you can actually go for the full ride on those particular gains. But silver, certainly, I mean, you spoke, I think, on last call, Claudia, regarding EVs, and we're involved, without going too much in it, with one of our future investment plays here with a big company, which we'll be hopefully getting involved with. We're in discussions now. They're in the, let's say, the electric vehicle battery technology industry, because this technology is changing very, very fast. But primarily silver. Every electric engine in EVs will have silver in it. It's going to have, I think, Claudia, you did some research on this. I think it's going to have something like 70 or 80 something kilos of copper in there, 60 kilos of nickel, and etc. So rare minerals and silver is going to be very, very important over this next 10 years, this decade, actually, as we move in towards the more greener direction with electric vehicles. And we just saw Germany by 2030, which is really only 9 years away, there's going to be only electric vehicles in Germany, 80 million cars. I mean, that's pretty incredible, actually. So the market's changing very, very, very fast. So I'm a long-term picker and rider of the, if I'm surfing, I like to catch the wave early and get off as long as possible, but at the right time. And this is where we like to sort of hold our long-term positions as well. I'm a long-term thinker. Short-term traders have a different view, of course, but if you can withstand those volatile spikes and troughs, I think the long term is the way to go. So that's my view on gold and silver. I think it's a good metal to hold long term. Wealth preservation is a small part of anyone's portfolio. It's highly liquid, so you can sell back at any particular time. And I think that's great. Most importantly, it's protecting your wealth, because having money in the bank is not protecting your wealth.
And Bill, that's actually the beauty about our platform. And that is what, of course, I have been doing. Many of our people actually on the call who are here. Hello, Robbie. Hey, Sahir. Hello, Maria, Gabriela, Andy, Satish, all who putting actually comments on. Good evening to you. This is actually what the beauty about this platform is, because, you say don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't sell your real estate now in order to buy all your gold or silver. No, you don't need to do that. You can just bit by bit really increase your holdings in precious metals, and we always should look at it like, okay, so what are all your holdings? What is all what you have, all the wealth what you have, your money in the bank or outside the bank, and your belongings. portion of that portion should be in gold and silver. Not all of it. Yes, of course, get into crypto. I'm also in crypto. Definitely. And I know there's a lot of crypto guys, they say, well, don't put into gold or silver. I would totally disagree with it because, again, it's about diversification. Sure, crypto had amazing runs, great returns, absolutely. But again, we're talking about wealth diversification, wealth preservation. And so it's just a part of that. And what you said, actually, you released a bombshell. I think a lot of people may overheard your words or didn't really even like, okay, so what did he actually say there? I didn't really grasp it. I do, of course, grasp it because I'm in this industry. So when we have, of course, one of the largest refineries in the world is actually short of a metal, that means they don't have enough, yet there's more demand. This is big. I mean, this is huge. What will this do for the price? We know gold and silver is highly manipulated on the price side there, but eventually, as it always goes, it has to break through, and it will break through. But for us and for me, it's not about the speculation. I just know if I just hold everything in cash, I mean, the bank doesn't give me any returns, right? You have negative interest rates. And it's about this diversification. We just saw like the dollar to the, of course, euro, how this has changed just the last few years. The euro is holding up. They are quiet, but still we have, of course, not counted in yet any inflation. All of those facts which COVID, of course, will give in order to eventually to this inflation. I mean, we have not yet really seen all of that happening because it's just right now the start of a lot of companies are collapsing. They can't sustain any longer. There's going to be some huge moves, and you want to be in something which is relatively stable, but also you want to be in something which obviously is a future trend. And so a trend, and that is certainly what you touched on, what we are working on and really behind the scenes, and we can't talk much about it at the moment, is something which this will be the trend of the, not decade, but really, I believe, of the century coming forwards. And that is, of course, natural resources and, of course, alternative energy, big time, because this is where the world has to go eventually. This is where the world is going. So I'm really glad to what it's going to come. We can't really talk about it right now, but we have a lot we can talk about.
Sure, Claudia. I mean, you've spent really much of your time in the office every day speaking to people that obviously the market hasn't seen yet, of course, but a very highly experienced team, from bankers to marketers to entrepreneurs, which have ownership of some fantastic assets, and that's what we're going to be trying to bring in the table. This is going to take some time because we really have to do it in a way that it's going to benefit all members at minimum of risk. But these assets are core. They're very strong, and they're actually the new sector, the new trend, renewable energy in one sense, that we're investing in. So that's great. But again, before we even get it on our platform, we want to be able to prove it ourselves with our own particular money, test it, and if it's and works it, and it's working properly, and then you're able to launch it. So we're still a few months away from that. It's still going to take some time, but we just want to let people know that that's on the drawing board, and we're having meetings every day and working with these people. And I know you today, Claudia, had pretty comprehensive meetings. So congratulations to you, because I know you're helping planning the changes of the particular platform.
Yes, definitely. So there will be certainly a lot of changes. I mean, a lot of changes coming, positive changes, of course, which is being worked on. But again, it's going to take a while, quite a while still, but it's going to be pretty awesome. I mean, we have big goals, we have big dreams, certainly. And you just got to give it a time. But that means in the meantime, in this preparation, obviously is as much as gold or silver as you can acquire, as much as diversified you can be, as much as you can right now look at income stream, building your income stream, also through sharing this with others, as better you will be positioned. It's all about this positioning for what is going to come. And of course, obviously, it's going to be very different than we launched, of course, when we launched with Store, very, very, very different to that. And we learned a lot. Again, it's always learning lessons. This is, that's the way it is. It's learning lessons in life. And as we learn, as we can do things better, improve things better, to really bring it great to the market. And so that's why this time we're waiting a little bit longer. That's fine. In order to really give you an amazing array of products when we are ready to do so. But in the meantime, of course, again, the gold and silver, I mean, as you know, I mean, I'm a gold freak, obviously. Not gold freak, I wouldn't say that, gold queen, they call it. But I really like it because it's again, it's security. And I love security. I love to have a stable asset, which is not so volatile, while I have, of course, as well, volatile things in my basket. And so silver, you touched on it. I believe is going to be the big winner eventually because of what is required. I mean, I see it just the last, gosh, how long am I in Dubai? November, right? Just from November on, it's January now. It's not even 3 months. What I have seen, this is just Dubai, but this makes you think. So the electric battery bicycles they put in here. When I started here coming, there was only this, this Kareem, which belongs to Uber. So where you can rent your electric bike there, and you can, tourists come, they rent it here and whatsoever. Well, what is in those batteries is obviously minerals, and certainly also silver is in there. And so now I only just saw one station of that. It was in the near of the hotel. But now when I do my bike ride, as of course you also a bike rider, I now see 4 different stations. So 3 stations with all those bikes have been added on just in the little 8 kilometers radius where we are. And so, and this is, of course, you just see how more and more and more will be added on. Now, this is one city. This is happening parallel in so many other cities. We're just talking about electric bikes, maybe a very tiny thing. But that eventually, you see the world, how it is changing and how the requirement of natural resources, of minerals, is going to just, going through the roof eventually. I mean, I see, of course, Germany very much transforming their inner cities. So they're cutting, in the cities. I mean, my city is Wiesbaden. So they're cutting the lanes. So there's just now, where normally there were 2 lanes in the city, now 1, and they make 1 for bikes. And of course, as we all know, we want to have electric vehicles till 2030. It's just electric vehicles and electric bikes. So I see this growth in that sector so huge, and we are involved and going to be heavily involved in this sector. That means obviously, definitely money, and everybody is looking for security. Everybody is looking for income streams. Everybody is looking for money. Everybody is looking for trends and opportunities. So to be involved early in this stage is really key. To have assets which you're actually having, you're owning in the sector is really key. And so this is what you, of course, have been working the last year, really since a year now on bringing to the table. And I'm really proud to be involved in it. And so I'm really, really happy to be involved in it. So but not sure if you want to add to something to it, Bill, but I also want to take this opportunity because I want to put it out to you, Bill. You don't maybe know, but since you just mentioned as well, our Philip Judd is actually here, which is really the co-founder with you together back in 2008 of the company, very heavily involved in precious metals, having his own precious metals fund. Maybe we can get them on a great interview. I mean, it's always amazing to listen to Philip Judge, of course, speak and share his vast knowledge. I mean, he sits next to Jim Rickards, who wrote all those books, and he sits on Jim Rickards sits on his fund as an advisor. So it would be great to have him for an interview. You think we can do that?
Well, Philip's already said he can. It's just a matter of time and schedule. So I'll be meeting him tomorrow. So we'll discuss that, Claudia, since you put out the hook.
It's always about that, isn't it?
But you made a very good point. I mean, we've got these new assets coming to the table, which are going to be the new trending assets, which is going to be dynamic, and I'm certainly going to be an investor in that. We're going to be sharing it with our members, but it doesn't mean you've got to stop now. I mean, okay, you've spoken about precious metals, which we know is a hedge against inflation. It's really important. It's a small part of a portfolio. The biggest thing people need in the world since the last 12 months is cash flow, income. Many parts of the world, people do not have income. You speak to taxi drivers here, Claudia, in this part of the world, workers that work extremely hard here. If they're not working, they're actually sent home or they're not paid at all. They don't have government support like in many other parts of the world, especially Western parts of the world in one sense. They're not as fortunate. So income to people is really, really important. And again, Utopian Global model is that vehicle where you can actually get income. And that is really key. And you can convert that income back into precious metal. Your commissions, you can convert it back into precious metals, but you can also convert your commissions back into Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's had a fantastic growth, hasn't it? I mean, it's broken out the last, I suppose it's 3 months now, 4 months. It's had an amazing run. It's in a bit of a consolidation right now, but they believe it's going to keep running for some time. So I believe in diversifying into that as well. You know, people believe, okay, is Bitcoin going to be better than gold and silver? You know what? I'm not that far yet. I certainly believe in owning Bitcoin and owning Ethereum, but I just saw in the US they've had the biggest internet blackout on the north coast of US, hit massively internet outage from Boston to the DC. So here you have a huge region of the United States with zero internet. So if you needed to pay for things and pay with your Bitcoin, how could you do that now? Or let's say there's an international crisis, a war zone, for example, in some part of the world. You may not have internet. So there is limitations on that side. So I'm a great believer in actually owning both. And Bitcoin, to me, it is gold 2.0, but it hasn't been around for 5,000 years. You know, if you've got it in your pocket, it is freedom. And historically, gold has been the ticket from multiple wars to people to be able to buy their freedom where they didn't accept different currencies. Or maybe if you didn't have access to your Bitcoin, maybe gold is that key to actually to set you free. So I'm a great believer in Bitcoin. I'm a great believer where it's heading, the growth it's going to have, but I believe in diversification as well, not putting all your eggs into one basket.
Absolutely.
But the point I was making there is that you can earn your commissions from referring our marketing platform, which is what, less than a couple of dollars a day, and you're getting ownership of precious metals. And you can convert those commissions directly back into, of course, more precious metals, or you can get paid out in Bitcoin. So it means you're acquiring Bitcoin month after month after month. That's also an asset that you're building up, which is really important to do.
And Bill, I know you have to run to your next appointment. Believe it or not, it's almost nighttime here, but I know you are on to the next one here. But yes, I mean, certainly. So I'm also a lover of Bitcoin, obviously, and got involved pretty early in that stage and have followed all of that. Certainly. I believe it has a lot of weight. So I also believe that it's going to grow and it's going to trend. But again, it's this diversification of that. And we have some questions here from people who are asking. So I'm going to just quickly move into that. And Bill, if you have to go, that's fine. I know you have an appointment right now.
5 minutes, Claudia. So let's go. Questions.
Awesome. Okay, so there's a question coming actually here from, well, it's not a question, it's from Bill actually. Bill is saying, with the big shift to renewables, increasing demand for precious metals in gold or silver, absolutely right. And Ken from Canada is asking, I know it's still early on that new project, but can we expect a long-term investment where we will have the opportunity to grow that opportunity on the long run, or will it be a one-shot deal where there'll be only so much time to join in before we move to something else, compounding potential.
Hi, Ken. It's a great question. Actually, there's going to be multiple assets coming to the table, to let you know. Some will be a securitized token, assets backed, and some might be even on a public exchange, such as traditional exchange, such as the Toronto TSX, I think it is, which is a fantastic exchange for minerals and mining, etc. So there's a cross section of assets, which will be, the intention is to raise capital, but they'll be floated on crypto exchanges and traditional exchanges, and the primary asset, I just said it, is minerals primarily. A cross section, actually, it's a cross section of minerals, and some of these minerals are very highly needed, especially when it comes to the EVs, electric vehicles. So this is going to be a long-term investment. Some of the investments will be longer term, and some of the investment cycles will be much shorter, where you'll be getting paid out much quicker. But when you get to meet the team that we've actually put together here in Dubai, as I said, from different bankers and brokers, remarkable entrepreneurs that have been involved in huge infrastructure projects. And when we have that call to introduce you to these people, we'll share the infrastructure projects that these people have been involved in. They're pretty massive, very, very significant. You're talking projects of hundreds of millions of dollars in one sense, and internationally. So to have them involved with us, because they like what we do, and I've been involved with these people for a long time, they want to be able to share their assets to the people, to the market, and not have to go through traditional brokerage firms that suck up all the revenues and take a lot of the margin just for exposure. Today, the world's we bridge the gap between you good people and directly to the asset. We want to cut out the noise in the middle. That's the whole idea of crypto, in one sense, is to get rid of that intermediaries in the middle as much as possible.
Thank you, Bill. Absolutely. And as I said, or sort of said a little bit or touched on a little bit, it will be a very, very different platform as you do know it right now. So which is, of course, very positive, because really one part of the focus has to be and will be, it has to be so super easy, user friendly for people. Very, very simple. But yet, of course, having a really great array of different products and services under the platform and in a regulated environment, which is absolutely key for you. To get involved, key, of course, as well for us, and to protect, of course, the business as such. So I'm looking forward. It's going to take, again, a little bit of time more, but all things, good things will take time. That's just the way it is. And that, again, this shouldn't stop you from right now sharing the message, getting people sort of really started, getting to know us, getting to build the trust, trying out to buy gold and silver, see how the system works, get familiar with the system, see, okay, well, they really get their gold. It's really there. Because, well, I really much believe, from all the experts I surround myself and all the studies on a daily basis I do, and those interviews and those people I meet, the trend certainly for this sector is there, and it's going to be great. For me, it's like, okay, you got to share it. You got to talk to people. And when you share, as Bill said, get the commission and get paid out in Bitcoin, and even cash into from that boom. I mean, why not? It's just amazing. But yeah, so this is basically.
Sorry to interrupt you. I've got to go to this brief meeting. Yeah. Are there any other questions before I go? And I'll hand it back to you.
I don't see any questions right now, and I don't want to make it too long as well. So we actually half hour. We're shorting those meetings down, because there's no point to have these endless meetings and to do those webinars again. Thank you so much, Bill, for being here. I know you got to go to this next meeting, and we're going to give you more updates as we grow. And I'm going to try to really make it possible to have this interview with Philip Judge, because Philip is, I would say, in the precious metals market, one of the top guys in the world. So with the knowledge, the vast knowledge, the history knowledge in the sector, the connections. So for certainly, definitely a mentor of mine. I mean, he did the documentary many years ago where he did win all kinds of awards, where he interviewed the likes like Ron Paul, which is called Millennium Money. You don't just do those documentaries if you're not so widely successful in this area. And of course, so I really want to have, and since I have the chance now that Philip is here in Dubai, want to get him hopefully this week for you guys on just on a talk, because you see, we have there's a lot of great people out there on YouTube and doing some really great stuff, but they're all new in the industry. You have somebody who's a really a guy who is the third generation in that, with the knowledge of his father, of his grandfather. It's just, yeah, it's I really like it, the information. So because for me, this is mentoring me, and we all need to be mentored, and we all need to learn so that we can actually learn and of course grow. So with that, guys, thank you so much. Have all a wonderful day. And we will update you, of course, ad hoc, as usual, when I can do this meeting. And of course, we do have our first time meeting with our great friend, Dr. Adrian Blue from the United States. So bringing more the US touch to you folks. And very soon, I'm looking forward to bring the Middle East and Asian touch to you as well. So wait for that to happen. It will happen, and it will happen definitely in this quarter. So in this first quarter. So with that, thank you guys. Share the video as well. Get people, intrigued, and have a great day. Stay safe, and enjoy the time. Thank you.